Welcome to the Team Broth channel. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out Replay, our sponsor, in the description down below. First question, who are you and how did you do at Polish Nationals?
So my name is Szymon Biniszewski, or you can call me Szymon. I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh player, obviously, and I won the Polish Nationals 2 weeks ago. With running Mitsurugi, Ryzeal with one Fiendsmith main deck.
Still counts. Congratulations.
Yeah.
So
Thank you very much.
why do you choose this deck? Why did you choose Fiendsmith, Ryzeal, Mitsu?
So I tested. I started testing like a month before the event, and I considered every deck in the meta. I tried them all out, but basically from the start, I knew I was playing some sort of Mitsurugi deck because, like, I played the game for a long time, and I always liked decks with somewhat high ceiling.
Yeah.
Especially for Polish tournaments where like the level it grew year by year, but like sometimes the best deck just carries you even when people are prepared for it. So I basically knew it was gonna be this deck. And yeah, I also tested Malice, of course, Memento, all kinds of decks.
Yeah.
One deck I'd never considered was Blue Eyes because it's bad in my opinion. But of the quote unquote good decks in my opinion, I tried them all, and the final decision was on Ryzeal Mitsu as I expected. Me and my friends, one of them was on your channel, Jonas. We theoried a lot also about the non-engine. We tested a lot of approaches to going second this format. We kind of agreed on the approach, but not on the deck. So I chose this deck like I was sure about playing it 3 weeks before the event. And yeah, I was playing a lot of DB and also in real life. And basically the theory was if you go off, you basically win the game. And I really think the Ryzeal cards and the Mitsu cards are pretty good going second as per only of engine. So the non-engine I decided to go with was 9 bomb cards, so 6 chummies, and the 3 Drolls. Of course, they conflict, but if you resolve one, you should be pretty good off going second versus the best decks in the meta.
Yeah, 100%.
And so the approach is to going second, either Droll or chummy them, and then use your engine alongside cards with Droplet and post side Storms and Dusters just to break half boards.
Yep.
So that's the approach. Also, one thing to note about the engine, I consider Ext and 7th Tachyon board breakers.
Okay.
If you're going into a half board, because like resolving Ext is really good. It puts a lot of pressure, and also the aggregator like negates the biggest threat.
Yeah.
So that's the approach. Also as the non-engine 3 Ash to negate chummies because it's like not good going second. Sometimes it wins, like if you high roll it, but yeah, it's mainly as additional copies of Cold Buy. I decided to play this deck, and it obviously worked pretty well.
Yeah, you can say that.
In Swiss, it's the tournament was 127 people, so it's like not the biggest nationals you can imagine in Europe, but it's the biggest we had ever in Poland.
That's pretty good.
So that's pretty good. The community grows.
Yeah.
So it was 7 rounds and top 8 cuts. So like you don't have many. You can only mess up once, basically, and maybe a draw.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I went 6-1 in Swiss, and I was second after it.
Nice.
And I played basically meta, which is pretty pretty unusual in Poland. So round one, I 2-out Malice. Then I played a mirror match. Then I played another mirror, going 3-0. Then I played. Then I played a Blue Eyes deck, I think, for 4. Then I lost the 5th round to a mirror match because I didn't draw any non-engine going second game 3. So yeah, that happens. Then I played versus Blue Eyes, and then the last round I played versus Ryzeal Heraldic Beast, I think it's called,
Yes, yeah.
and I won both of those rounds. And top 8 was versus Crystron Horus.
Okay.
It was a Swift 2-0,
Yeah.
and then top 4 was Malice. Yeah, that was 2-1. Actually, game 3, I thought I had a really bad hand, but he had an even worse one, so I ashed his Chessy Cat and he passed. It was the same.
Oh,
It was pretty lucky.
yeah.
And then in the finals, I played versus Memento, a German guy. I think he has a couple YCS tops.
Oh, okay.
And he won the roll. He bricked game 1. Passed with empty board. I ashed a Fuva, I think, and proceed to ATK. Then he comboed on me game 2. And game 3, he didn't draw any non-engine, so I made a full board, backed up with a Spooky Dogwood in hand, like
Yeah.
8 minutes before time. So
The spice.
it was pretty good. Yeah, that was my tournament experience.
Yeah. Happy
So
days. Cool. And then, well, you've just mentioned the spice. This was something I had to bring up. I have not seen Spooky Dogwood anywhere near a list in a very long time. How come you went Spooky Dogwood and Gaga Gar Cowboy?
yeah, so it may look a little bit suspect, the side deck of the time cards. I will also, to make it even more suspicious, say I was coached by an Italian before the event,
Okay.
but but I never summoned the cowboy actually.
Okay.
And Spooky Dogwood, I never won with Spooky Dogwood straight up in time. This card puts a lot of pressure on people that didn't play with or playtest with a clock. So
Yeah.
it's really good, even if there is 15 minutes left or 14 even, and you Spooky Dogwood them, it makes people play awkwardly.
Yeah.
And yeah, and obviously it secures, it makes you a little bit more safe going into time.
Yeah.
But it's not just straight into time, it's just to put pressure. Like, it's the same theory with Droll and Purulia, just when there is not a lot of time. It makes your opponent play awkwardly and don't full combo or even like max C going first back in the day.
Yeah.
You make a board and then Spooky Dogwood, it makes them play awkwardly into your board.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for the longest time it was Meowls, but last minute I changed it because Meowls covers like just the Malice. I don't like it versus pure Mitsu.
Okay.
And Spooky Dogwood, I could just put pressure on every deck, and I expected the variety of decks to be pretty wide in a Polish setting.
It always feels like that at Nationals, doesn't it? Like, it's so much just random kind of decks. Like, I think I played Salamangreat on the weekend there. I did not expect Salad. That was at the bottom of my list, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I played mostly meta, but I expected a bit more rogue matchups. So that's always the bane of my existence. Rogue decks. Like when I go to YCSs, I'm always prepared for a mirror match.
Yeah.
And then I lose 2 out of the first 4 rounds versus rogue decks. It's like, yeah. So I wanted to be prepared for it a little bit more this time. Maybe I was lucky not to play any rogue decks, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's nice to, like, if you prepare for meta and then you see meta, it's nice. You actually get to kind of like do what you prepared for, whereas you're not seeing something really random. Like, there's been some very, very peculiar decks about, but also some very creative ones as well. But yeah, and then talk us through some of your like tech choices. Like, one thing that's glaringly obvious to me is there's not a single Aramasa in your deck, which is very interesting.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest differences from the standard lists. So the Aramasa is, I think you need 3 level 4s for the engine right now. But I cut the Aramasa and played a Nightsword Serpent instead. Yes, it's more bricky, but if you draw Aramasa and you have to normal summon Aramasa, it's basically like it loses to everything. It loses to Droll, it's bad into Chummies, it's like it's bad into Ash. Like, people will Ash it if you start of it, I think. And in testing they did it. Because like if you normal Aramasa, they know your hand is really bad.
Yeah.
And Serpent, it overlaps with the Fiendsmith theory, which I will talk about shortly. it also raises the ceiling of the combo I do going first, because like the one Fiendsmith, it's only to play through hand traps, and if I'm allowed to full combo, I will make a Ouroboros hand loop for
Yeah,
two
yeah,
with the cross and detonator and the Mitsu setup, but I will hand loop for two. So like the Americans, they played the Ouroboros combo like on the first YCS when the second wave of Mitsu was released, and they played this combo without Serpent, and yeah, the combo was unknown, so people did not know how to interact with it basically.
yeah.
But if you don't play Serpent, there is one specific point where if you hold the nib after the first hand rip and they don't get to it, so you still have 4 cards. You need to overlay the duo drive with the Ouroboros to make twins, and at that specific moment they can nib you. Yeah, if you play Serpent, you don't expose yourself ever
Okay.
to that moment, because you don't have to remove the duo drive with the material under it
Yeah, that's
whilst
cool.
having cross. So it makes the combo a little bit safer and better.
Yeah,
Also, like it, I always, if I draw either prayers or habakiri, I start with them even if I have the Ryzeal cards, and so the first search is always the ritual in the main phase,
yeah,
and if I resolve the ritual, and then I get drolled, the serpent allows me to go into the Fiendsmith line for free,
yeah,
basically. And yeah, the Fiendsmith is just to play through Droll and Purulia. So through Droll, you can end on the Caesar, basically. And in my opinion, Caesar, it's really good versus the straight up Mitsu engine and Melis engine. It sometimes can win you the game on its own.
yeah.
Uh, and people go for Baguska and stuff like this when they get drolled, but every time I summoned Baguska in testing, I lost the game. It was just too easy to out for the best decks in my opinion.
That's fair enough.
So the Caesar sounded really good for me, and yeah, I saw it on DB high rated. Like people were playing one Engraver, one Lacrima, and one Sanct.
Yeah,
So I started off with this, and then I realized I never want to start with Lacrima or Sanct, even if I draw them.
yeah,
So I just decided to have the one Bricky Engraver in my deck to play through these cards. Like if Purulia resolves versus you, you can make Detonator Caesar with Cross, giving them two draws, or you can sacrifice the Cross and search follow up, giving them only 2 draws. So like during the tournament, I never, if I had I knew I could go for the Fiendsmith line, and they Purulia'd me, I didn't ash it, because like the real problem is Fuva loss.
yeah.
And 2 times when I didn't ash the Purulia, they had the Fuva, which I could ash and win the game. So it was a good approach in my opinion.
Getting rewarded for thinking smartly, trying to play around the Purulia. I think that's a very clever thing to do. Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah, and it's basically paid off during the tournament 2 times. So like the 2 brick cards, they overlap, but they make you play through stuff even better. And I decided to increase the amount of bricks, but not with the cost of playing good cards. So I didn't cut Tachyon, I didn't cut any of the X or I's, and no starters. The deck is still full amount of starters, just with a couple of bricks. But if you resolve your starters, you basically win the game. So yeah, that's the theory. And also the same goes with the star node and cross. I know people were cutting these cards, but they just help you to play through stuff and establish a better board. Like if they draw you on the Ryzeal stuff, like going first, I search of Taki on the ice. So if they draw you on this, you can summon the star, set up cross and detonator, and that's also pretty good. Maybe with an ash or Droll in hand, it can get you there.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that was the theory, and of course, going second, I sided some of them out, not to break on them.
yeah.
It's like
That's
you
fair
need
enough.
a lot of playable cards. Yeah, so the tech choices, like not standard ones, were for the engine, the serpent, and the engraver, and that's my reasoning for them.
Yeah, I think as well. Did you find that you ever missed the Lacrima? Because if you're only playing the Engraver, well, as you can see from your extract, you can't get into the Desiree. Did you ever find you missed the Desiree kind of like OTK line or anything like that?
Never ever. It's basically just for going first to play through the bump cards if they resolve, if you don't cross out, cold by them, or ash them. It's basically for that. Going second, I side the engraver out mostly versus most decks, and the extra deck package is just 4 cards, just to make the 2 bodies into Caesar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I listened to the talk you had with Jonas, and that's completely opposite of the approach he
Yeah.
has. He has
Yeah.
always the approach to minimize going first. But yeah, I like a higher ceiling, and I like to have stuff to do when I go first. And for the non-engine tech choices, I already started to talk about them a little bit. So like, the 9 bump cards, as I stated in the beginning,
Yeah.
therefore mm, just for blowing out the mirror match basically, or maybe pure Mitsu. But Droplet is not that standard. I think not many people, I mean, it's became more standard by now, but 2 weeks ago it was pretty unusual, and it was a theory we built together with Jonas. He played 6 breakers,
Yeah.
and I played like the droplets. And as I stated, the tackle for me is a little bit of a breaker as well.
Yeah.
With the Ext. So yeah, it's just really good into hardboards, and it's droplet for me is like the rogue deck destroyer. So when you go to the Polish nuts, like having droplet in your deck feels so good. So you're prepared from all this weird stuff you can face.
Yeah.
And yeah, the theory overlaps with the side deck with the Storm and Duster, which are like bonkers. I put it them versus like everything, and yeah, Charmy, Storm, Ext game.
So how come only 2 droplet? How come we didn't go to 3?
Yeah, the it's a brick basically. Like Tachyon, it starts your place,
Mm-hmm.
and Droplet, if you draw 2, it feels really bad, and like it's not versus a certain deck. So like playing 3 felt like a bit bricky. Like you just want to see one of the bomb cards going second alongside with the Charmy. So uh, if I had the space, I maybe would play a third one, but I didn't want to cut on the starters, and I also didn't want to play more than 41 cards
Yeah.
because I want to see Crossout and Cold by
Yeah, that's fair enough.
as often as I can, and like the X Ryzeal. So yeah, that's basically the reasoning.
Okay.
It, it felt a little bit bricky for me.
That's fair enough. That makes sense for putting it 2. And I mean, if you have 6 Charmies in the main, you're gonna see it when you want to see it if they commit into it. So, yeah, that makes sense. And then with Crossout as well, now you mentioned it, um, obviously it's really good going first, but go like to protect yourself from hand traps and stuff. Did you ever find yourself, say, in the mirror match calling like Mitsurugi Ritual or like any kind of spicy things like that?
Yeah, I left it going second in the deck mostly,
Ooh,
just to
okay.
beat. Yeah, because like if they you can break the board, but if they have a half board and they draw you,
Yeah,
you still lose the game.
it's rough.
So I left both Cold by and Designite and Crossout going second just for the draw, because it's such a bomb versus you sometimes,
Yeah.
especially when if they have draw that backs up board or half boards. So yeah, and as for mirror matches, I think I cross outed an ice once or sword rise or something like this.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, basically, but nothing super spicy. Mostly for Droll.
That's fair. I think because it's only at 1, you can't get to do as much spice as you want. You know, don't get to see it as much. But
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
and then kind of other smaller things like I noticed there was no Dynamondo in your extra. Obviously, your extra is very very tight as is. Did you miss that at all, or did you think about putting that in at any point?
No, Dynamondo was in my deck before I put the Fiendsmith, but Dynamondo serves the same purpose as the Fiendsmith package. Because like if you get hand trapped, you go into the Dynamondo, and then you can amino them on their turn and stuff like this.
Yeah,
But I just wanted if I had 2 bodies when my ritual resolved, I wanted to go for the Caesar, because like in my opinion it's one of the best cards, right,
yeah,
like extra deck cards right now. that does the most, and like Dynamondo felt super like desperate when you
Yeah,
make it.
yeah, I know what you mean.
It didn't feel strong enough.
That's fair. Is that like the same with like IP, SP, I guess? Because that's like kind of the big three that are missing. So like, is that like your? There's no point in having them in that regards because you just much rather make the Fiendsmith stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly this. And like you mentioned, the extra deck is really tight, but like the cards you don't play is like Tornado Dragon
Yeah.
and utility cards like this and Castel for Featherstorm, which we can talk about later about the going first approach
Yeah.
after siding, because like I have a lot of cards to side out going first.
Yes.
Uh, but like Ouroboros and Dugares, they both have free effects. Like if you draw them, like Ouroboros, it banishes from grave, sends from hand, and returns problem cards from field. Dugares, it draws, it special summons from grave, so it can get you back into the engine, and then it also boosts attack. I outed like a Chaos Angel with the
Oh,
attack boost. I went for game 2 times with the attack boost.
brilliant.
So like these two cards give you all the utility you could dream of, in my opinion. And like I never missed a Tornado Dragon. I never missed a Castel. Like the cards you can. Like, you said Dynamondo.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I think the extra deck is perfect for me right now.
Nice.
Uh, I didn't miss a single card. Like
Cool.
going second, you have the Exiton to bait interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
So yeah, the extra deck seems tight, but in my opinion, if you want to play the one engraver, it's basically perfect for the
yeah.
moment. Maybe like people don't want to go for the Ouroboros combos, but I don't get why you would not go for this hand loop. Like people don't play hand traps right now, like Imperm, Veiler, Mourner. like,
Yeah.
so you often just Ash a Fuvalos and you can full combo.
Okay.
So Ouroboros is, yeah, it's basically really good for utility and the first turn play. So,
Yeah. Yeah, well, dive into a little bit more on Ouroboros. So I take it. So you said your standard, you would end board. So you'd Ouroboros twice, and then you would end on like full Mitsu, and then it was cross and detonator. You said, wasn't it? That was a standard
yeah, and duo drive.
and duo drive. So I take it as well because
Yeah, and
did that feel really good during the day? Well, I presume from your testing it must have felt good, and well, if you won, it must have felt good as well. But did you find like it worked really, really well, or did you have to pivot at any points?
I mean, if you full combo, you no matter what board you do, I think you win right now. But doing the hand loop, it's really good into like people that play Droplet, Super Poly, and like people also scoop games easily with Ouroboros because they don't want to reveal what they play.
Very
So
good
it
point.
makes the games really quick.
Yeah,
Sometimes just the moment Ouroboros hits, they scoop up.
yeah,
And like if you do the board I said, you can't lose in my opinion. Like it had to be a super custom hand.
yeah. I can imagine as well if they like sometimes they might have like a hand trap as well because then you're not just hand lipping them for two. They probably throw a hand trap at something that you can probably push through, and then to be honest, then they're just sat on two cards in hand, which drawn into three against like full like board. You've got detonator with like 2 or 3 pops, and then you've got the whatever hand traps you might have drawn, and then cross as well. I imagine that just it must feel impossible to be fair.
Yeah, and Murakumo also
Yes,
discards a card like
yeah, the busted
uh,
part of the engine.
yeah. So like, and even if, yeah, the extra deck is built as well this way that the half boards are really good.
Yes,
So like the Fiendsmith package contributes so that you can like almost always end on a detonator somehow. So yeah, and detonator is also like FTK versus some weird decks.
yeah,
Like Malice plays really bad into detonator
yeah,
usually, and
um,
even worse into a Caesar. So yeah,
yeah, exactly.
that's how I build the decks. That's it's pretty good going first, but it
Yeah,
also has options going second with the Exiton,
yeah,
uh, and with all the utility from the from the stuff.
yeah. And then you talked about it a wee bit. What would your say like your side pattern and like say game 2, 3 going first? What would your typical side ins like? Well, you've got the 6 card Fuva package. I presume all that comes out. Like, what would go in?
Like always, I side out 3 Perulias and 2 Fuva,
Okay.
and I leave the 1 Fuva in for the random crossout
Yeah.
luck suck. I mean, I debated a lot with my friends if I have to do it. They said it's probably really bad, but I actually cross-outed uh, a Fuva once post site, so like it paid off.
Yeah.
And the worst case scenario, Fuva is a level 4 that you can normal summon.
Yeah, that's something.
And make a dual drive with Serpent or something like this.
Yeah.
So like yeah, these 5 cards go out, and you always put in going first the 3 Judgment, Purification, and the Talents.
Yeah.
So that's basically standard. Like of course versus if you play Malice, you put in Lancias for Drolls and stuff like this. Going second, basically always put in Storms and Duster and take out 1 or 2 Tachyon. Usually 1 because like I like the board breaker thing it does with Ext. So this the Star Ryzeal and the pen and the engraver. I sometimes leave the cross in, sometimes I side it out. It depends on the player, but even pushing through a board, searching for cross, it's sometimes really helpful to like bait something.
Yeah.
So it's not. I sometimes take it out. Depends on the matchup. Yeah, but basically the going first side pattern, as I said, is 3 Purulia out, 2 Fuva out, and 5 going first cards in. I considered a lot of going first. I mean, talents and purification, they're basically standard,
Yeah.
but I had the 3 slots that I wanted to use strictly for going first. So the card I was playing for the longest time was Harpy's Featherstorm,
Okay.
like the tech for when it was hot, like 3 weeks before the event,
Yeah. Yeah.
made
Yeah.
popular by the US guys.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you resolved it, it felt pretty good. But the problem I had with the card is that you did it after you got Purulia, Fuvat or Droll usually, to like end on something and skip their turn. But if you did this, you had to commit 2 bodies for Castel, which is basically a vanilla going first.
Yeah.
Then usually after you got Drolled, it cuts you out of your follow-up. So you committed an engine card and you committed a card, set card, just to skip their turn. But then, if they hand trapped me back, like Ash something, that I sometimes lost the game because I either didn't have any follow up, or they reacted to my follow up. So the FTK card wasn't an FTK 100% of the time,
Yeah.
and it required a little bit of setup. So I decided to scrap the idea. When I was coached by the Italian player, you may know him, is Lorenzo Muselli.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, 2-time Italian champion.
Yes.
I decided to try out coaching for the first time, and it was really, I cannot recommend it enough. Like, very insightful guy.
Yeah.
He told me to try out the Dragon's Mind. I think the card is called, or Dragon's Mirror.
Yes. Is that
It's a
the
common
counter?
counter trap.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's basically a judgment, but it requires you to have either duo drive or detonator on board, which you can do, but then it still requires setup. It requires you to do something to be live, and so if you brick, and brick based on like some non-engine and the Dragon's Mind, it's a dead card, and Judgment was always live.
Yeah.
It negated every card, and even if I bricked, it could buy me a turn. So that's why I just decided to go with the Judgment, a vanilla approach, but it's just always live and doesn't require any setup. Works
Yeah.
on its own.
I mean, you won, so you've proved it works.
Yeah, I can't lie. I drew it like 2 times or even 3 times of a cross draw mid combo. Felt really good.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, especially if you've resolved cross at that point, just to get just win the game.
Yeah, also the spooky Dogwood in finals, as I mentioned, I also drew it off cross.
Oh, the cross draws go mad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the cross draws were pretty clutch this tournament. But yeah, if you want to win an event, it's either a YCS or like small nationals like this. You have to be a little bit lucky, in my opinion,
Yeah.
like to win
Yeah.
the event. Maybe not to top but to win, you sometimes have to rip the top deck called by.
Sometimes, yeah, you just need that little extra kick of luck. Yeah, completely
Yeah,
get that.
sometimes you just feel it's your day, and sometimes you get stomped on by rogue decks. So
It happens. It happens. And then next kind of spicy thing I saw was it Drag Luxian was very interesting. I've heard a couple of people play it, but I've not really seen it too much. Did you make that?
uh,
Did it come up a lot?
yeah, so Dragluxian, I think it's pretty standard by now. It was a hidden tech for the first YCS.
Yeah.
Not many people knew about it, but right now I think it's pretty standard. It makes so that you can bridge the engines two ways. It's either with the Feral Imps or with this.
Yeah.
There are lines where you make the Dragluxian. You don't make it often, but when you do, it usually gives you the full combo. Because like yeah, it just searches tachyon and then you have some additional materials to detach of dual drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically to bridge the engines and search a tachyon.
Yeah. I
That's
suppose
basically
it's
the whole point of the card. I wanted to have the two ways to bridge into imps, and also there is a line because like you can say if I play the serpent, then why don't I just do the king of the feral imps always? It's because there's a line where you can overlay two rituals, search tachyon, and then use the serpent and the Dragluxion to make closed heaven
yeah.
and go into the Fiendsmith, and then have the galaxy, the seven tachyon search without being locked into anything. So you already have the Caesar, and then you can normalize
Yeah. That's really smart.
basically. So there's one line like this.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. And then the one big one as well is like obviously you're doing a ton of adding. As you've said, you've kind of played around it a wee bit by having like the Fiendsmith engraver in to play around Droll and stuff. But with 7 Tachyon alongside the Ryzeal package, it is a very heavy adding deck. Did you find yourself getting Drolled a lot? And did you find that the Fiendsmith really relieved a lot of pressure when you did get Drolled?
I mean, I think I got Drolled like every second game. Yeah, Droll was everywhere this tournament, and like the engraver came in clutch a lot because like the only weakness of the engraver package is so if you play the mirror match, and they have the extra Ryzeal access, it basically outs it.
Yeah.
But if they just drew Mitsu stuff, it feels really good, and it won me 2 malice matchups after I got Drolled. It won me a mirror match because he only opened the Mitsu part of the engine.
Nice.
Yeah, so it carried me, and I also like I can't lie, I drew Cold Buy and Crossout pretty often going first.
That's kind of nice.
I think I resolved Cold Buy and Crossout on Droll like 5 or 6 times.
Oh, you're so lucky. That's brilliant. I suppose
Yeah.
if it's in the main, you have a higher chance of seeing it a lot more often, to be fair. So I think that is, yeah, it's luck, but at the same time, if you're, like, there's an extra game, you can be drawing it. So that does make a lot of sense, to be fair.
Yeah, if you think about the list, I don't know if you have seen it. There is like one of the most famous players, Christian Urena.
Yes.
He topped a YCS in like South America, I think. If the list looks different, but if you take out the engraver and the droplets and put in talents and swap the serpent for Aramasa, plus add he also played 1 copy of Nib, it's basically the same list, card by card. It's just like 95% his list. I really loved his approach, but like I would just wanted to have the engraver.
That's fair.
And I hated the Nib in testing. It was so bad.
Yeah, you've just raised the point there. I actually I didn't have that written down, but now I've just realised it. Yeah, you've got no Gallant Granite, you've got no nibs anywhere. Did you really find it that bad?
I tested the hand trap approach, but to be honest, if I don't have to play real hand traps, I will not do it. I hate to play like the 18 hand trap decks.
Yeah.
I like the bump hand traps. In my opinion, like Imperm, it's basically hand looping you for right now. It's a hand loop card.
Yeah.
Like it does nothing versus the mirror usually. It just powers through cards like this. Malice, if you Imperm something, they just push through that. They have so many extenders. Nib, like, okay, if you want to play the nib, you have to play other real hand traps with it to pair,
Yeah.
basically. And if you draw it by on its own, it's like basically that. The combo when you search it with Granite and you have it in hand to secure your board, okay, but then that means you are pretty much playing the game if you do the Granite. So if I play the game, I'd much rather just hand loop them
Yeah.
than search a Granite, a nib via Granite.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't miss the nib. I didn't miss real hand traps. I just as I stated before, I don't like playing hand traps. Like my favorite decks are like all gas decks. It's pretty controversial, but back in the day, the Danger FTK decks, it was just so fun for me because I didn't have to put any non-engine in the deck, or Ishizu tournaments like full gas.
Yeah.
That's
The good old days.
Those are my kind of decks.
Yeah, that's respectable. That's fair. And then yeah, I guess the big one as well is MVP of the day. Any card that you found the absolute best?
Yeah, X Ryzeal, in my opinion,
Ah,
X Ryzeal
yeah.
overperforms anytime you play it. It's, in my
It's,
opinion, if you consider to play a deck for an event, you have to think about, like, if you want to play Malice, you have to think about the fact, does the Malice deck play a card that is as good as X, going first or second? And then you think about a card like Detonator in the extra deck. Like these are basically format warping cards in my opinion, like
yeah.
super good.
Yeah.
And of course the Mitsu engine is bunkers as well. But like the stuff that the X does, if it resolves going first or second, is super good. In my opinion, like it's ban worthy,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. X is a crazy card. I mean, it's one thing that like in every nationals, there's always been some form of Ryzeal, and it's like kind of been dominating a lot of it. So it makes a lot of sense. Like X Ryzeal is just the craziest of cards. And then
Yeah.
anything you change?
Uh, yeah, the Euros are coming. For the tournament, no. I felt the deck was perfect. Like, I knew what the contradictions were. Like, if you resolve Tachyon, you cannot go into Engraver and stuff like this because it
Yeah.
locks you out.
Mm-hmm.
But I basically knew what I want to do in certain scenarios that resolved. So for the event, I think the deck was perfect, and also think considering it was a Polish tournament, I would not change a thing. Maybe cut the Dogwood and play Meowth for it. I don't know. But yeah, as Euros approach, the format will change a bit because like we get the Vanquish Soul, which will be pretty good. Like
Yeah.
not as good as in the OCG with K9, but the new card is two cards are really good.
Yeah.
So you have to consider this deck and the Lunalight deck. So maybe like for the Lunalight, a Retaliating Sea that also covers Memento matchup.
Yeah.
I don't know, and maybe just cut two Tachyon and something else and play the pre-prep package.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I want to play the one engraver still, not a bigger package and not without it. I still like maybe like the more pure Mitsu approach, like the UK national guy that won.
Yes.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
but he didn't play Cross, he didn't play Node, and I really like those cards, despite that they are not starters themselves, but they do funny things. I don't know. Like for the event, I'm 100% happy with the deck. For Euros, I think you have to adapt because like the format changes every week, and yeah, you have to be prepared fresh for
Yeah.
a certain event. People will try to find edges for the meta. So
Yeah.
if you play the best deck, which I think this deck is the best deck, then you have to like be prepared for the edge that people prepare for you. So yeah,
Yeah. That's fair
for
enough.
the tournament, I'm 100% happy with the deck. We'll see for Euros what happens.
Yeah. And then last question. How many dice rolls did you win?
I think it was pretty 50-50, to be honest. I didn't write it down, but yeah, I think it was 4-3
Okay.
in Swiss, and top 8 I won the dice. Top 4 I lost the dice, I think. And in the finals, I'm certain I lost the dice because he bricked and didn't open
Yes.
and passed on an empty board. So
Yeah. Much nicer when that happens.
yeah.
Nice. Okay. So a nice healthy mix then. That's interesting to see. And then yeah, anything you think we've missed? Anything you want to cover?
Uh, no, I think we talked about everything that's pretty like interesting about the deck, because like how long can you talk about the Ryzeal? It's pretty solved by now, but like
Yeah.
yeah, the engraver tech, the no Aramasa for Serpent. I
Yes.
think we
Yeah.
covered that. We covered the extra deck, and I think it's like perfect right now. And yeah, I think we have it
Yeah. That's no
basically
worries.
about tech.
And then I guess just the shout outs and anybody you want to shout out to, basically.
Yeah, I want to shout out my testing circle. It's called Duże Chłopy, and my team CRS. So basically, my closest friends right now in the game, Jonasz, Andrzej, and Mateusz.
Yep.
I would like to also shout out the coach, Lorenzo. It was
Yes.
really a really good time preparing for the event, and like the whole Polish community. It's it was really nice to see them root for me and to be
Good.
happy that the Polish guy won the Polish nationals, because
Yes.
the last match we had was won by a German. So
So you got the revenge then, basically.
yeah, I took the crown back to
Good.
to our
Good.
community.
I'm glad.
Yeah, but the guy from the finals super nice. Like yeah,
Good. I'm
always
glad.
pleasure to see guys like this.
Yeah, exactly. Congratulations once again, and thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Hey guys, thank you for watching. See you in the next one.